What's up, y'all? No music today. Mama Love just stole my speaker. I can't find it. So, I still love you, Mama, but I need to stop messing with my stuff. Anyway, let's get right into it, right? I'm going to digress a little bit from what I said last week. No, excuse me, what was it, a couple weeks ago? I did my last video on Terrance Crawford versus Errol Spence. I'm going to digress. I had a chance to go back, review both fighters, right? I watched a lot of fights. Lots. And I gotta say, right after all the reviewing, and I'm gonna change my mind a little bit. And I don't like to do that, right? I don't like to do that. If I say something, right, I usually go with that. This time I'm gonna, and it ain't gonna be like drastic or nothing, right? It's still a hard fight to call, right? It's not like this is easy, right? But I am gonna change it up a little bit, right? Last month I said I wasn't gonna give you a prediction, right? I said it was too hard of a fight to do that with, right? And damn, this paper's hard to open. What the fuck? But after looking at things, man, and having a few conversations with a couple other knowledgeable dudes, I feel different, man. I really do. So here's what I'm gonna say, right? I'm not gonna say that Errol Spence is gonna have a cakewalk, because we all know that's bullshit, right? It's not gonna be easy, but what I am gonna say, right? So we all know. All right. So if you're a fan of boxing and you watch both fighters, then you know their tendencies, right? You know what they do in there. Errol Spence, after watching and watching and watching, the guy he just doesn't change his shit, man. The guy's a workhorse. You know what I mean? He just fucking chops you down till you ain't got nothing left. So, and he stays to that, right? That's his fucking game plan. He just doesn't derail from that. And you know what? Not only that, he's like super textbook, man. Defensively sound, right? Everything's perfect. His jabs, his hooks, his body work. I mean, it stays consistent, constant work. I mean, high IQ, right? The guy's fucking amazing. Terrance Crawford. See, I like Terrance Crawford for a lot of reasons, right? The guy's talented, man. The guy's he's just got things he can do in there that are you just can't teach that, right? It comes natural. And back a month ago when I gave that last video, I was saying, man, listen, man, just like Crawford had caught Sean Porter, right? Could be possible he does the same thing here. Now, I don't like to, and I can't believe I even did that, right? I don't like to take certain situations and compare them to others in boxing anyway, right? Because styles make fights, right? You can't say one thing's gonna happen based off what happened in another fight. You just can't. It's just not. It's not. I mean, sometimes you can, right? Sometimes you can. It just depends on the fight. But this is just not one of them situations. So, and the way I feel about it after watching, I don't feel like Errol Spence makes a lot of mistakes in there. He don't, right? The guy's he's amazing. I'd never seen anybody. You know what he reminds me a lot of? He reminds me a lot of Tito Trinidad, right? Tito Trinidad didn't have like a bag of goodies to come in there with. He had one fucking thing he did right, which was ferociousness, right? Tenacity. Challenge my will. I'm gonna keep coming at you, right? I'm gonna chop you down. Punch after punch after punch after punch. Every punch that he delivered had purpose, right? He was selective. Um, he had a lot of heart, right? A lot of the same traits, right? And when I see that kind of shit, man, that is a very hard thing to overcome when you're the opposite opponent, right? When you're doing certain things, a lot of that shit don't work. I remember watching old Tito Trinidad fights, right? And you would think because of his Tito wasn't the greatest athlete, right? He didn't have like those special things he did in there. So it didn't make him look special. But what he did in there was special, right? And it took a while for people to take notice and to say, wow, man, he's fucking amazing. That dude, to fight him is a problem, right? It's kind of the same thing here. I think and Tito had a lot of popularity. Two guys you got to remember. He got the whole fucking island of Puerto Rico, you know, and all the Puerto Ricans and a lot of Latinos backing him up, you know. So he had a very wide fan base, right? Not to take that away from Errol Spence because he's got a fucking amazing fan base too. I personally fucking love that guy, but he does remind me a lot of Tito Trinidad and better. I actually think he's better. I think he's stronger, right? I think he's a better workhorse, right? I think he's Tito Trinidad 2.0, maybe even more 4.0. Who the fuck knows, right? But I think he's got those similar traits. And whenever you've seen talented fighters come in to fight Tito Trinidad, David Reed, right, who was a very talented fighter, right, Olympic gold medalist. Actually, Tito took out like I think 3 gold medalists, man. To be honest with you, who was the other? Wasn't it? Was Pernell Winniger? I think it was Pernell Winniger, man. Mm-hmm. And Pernell Winniger was no joke. Pernell Winniger was no joke. The guy was very elusive in there, hard to hit him, hard to find him, right? Well, Tito Trinidad found that motherfucker, right? And that was shortly after he fought De La Hoya, so there is no excuses, right? It's not like he was that much older, right? It was what it was. And then the other one was De La Hoya, right? The other gold medalist was De La Hoya. So I mean, when you seen, and those are 3 different styles, right? De La Hoya, from Pernell Winniger to De La Hoya to David Reed, guys like William Joppy, right? Who the fuck else? Actually, excuse me. Wow, I'm forgetting Fernando Vargas. You know, these are all very talented young dudes who came up to fight Tito Trinidad and fell victim to that style, right? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. When I look at Errol Spence, I worry that Terrance Crawford's gonna make a mistake. And the reason I say that, right, and I think if you're a fan of boxing, then you should know, right? If you go back and watch those fights, you know that when Terrance Crawford gets hit, he likes to get his get back, right? Immediately. You know, he don't fuck around. Right? He wants to put it in your mind that if you hit me clean, I'm not only gonna I'm gonna hit you cleaner, harder, and maybe more times than you were able to hit me. And it's a very dangerous thing because the chances are you can get knocked out. The guy's talented, man. So, but you know what? It's dangerous to have that attitude in the ring, right? Especially with a guy like this. It could work a lot of times with lesser fighters. But like anything else, there's levels to this shit, right? Errol Spence happens to be at the very top of whatever level we are looking at boxing right now. He is at the top of that shit. Not to say that, you know, they couldn't be higher level. I mean, obviously we have Mayweather, who is a whole other level. And by the way, if y'all don't know, word is Errol Spence gave Mayweather some real good work, is what Mayweather said. He gave me some good work which if I had to take that in other words, if I had to read between the lines, sounds like Spence gave him the business, to be honest with you. Granted, that was after some time off, and Mayweather's a little older. Do I think Mayweather would come out of retirement to fight Spence? Nah. I think that's one he'd probably say, I'm good. Nobody wants to tarnish a record, right? Why do you think Mayweather's out of the game? He's out of the real game. I mean, he's still boxing, but he's fucking fighting weirdos, man. All right, come on. You know what I mean? We're gonna get on Mayweather because it kind of disappoints me, but whatever. It is what it is. So yeah, I mean, I think that Crawford, back to the subject, I think that Crawford, again, I don't want to take nothing away from that guy because he is fucking really good, right? And he's proven that time and time again. And to be honest with you, man, like I did favor him like a little bit in the beginning, but as it gets closer, and this happens with all fights, right? Where you start to ponder and think, and I'm somebody who plays a little bit with the sport, right? I like to put money down. I like to, right? I talk with other people who are very much into the game, and you get difference of opinions, right? You know, sometimes it can change, right? I don't like to change what I say, right? I'm very, once I say something, I'm like, nah, I'm firm on that. But this is one of them things, man. That's just after doing some hard thinking, I had to change it up a little bit. And I'm solid on this one. Like I don't think it's gonna change. I'm actually nervous, right? I'm actually thinking we might see a knockout based on that attitude that Crawford comes with, right? Now I don't know, right? Because again, when I say there's levels to this shit, fighters also know that, obviously, right? You're not gonna come in there and try to act stupid with a guy like Errol Spence. I think he did that with Sean Porter because Sean Porter was doing that basically throughout the fight. Sean Porter's a very aggressive fighter, and he likes to take it to you, right? And that's how he fights. That's pretty much his MO. The whole time he's gonna do that with you. He's aggressive. So all it took was Terrance Crawford to adjust his game, right? And pretty much be able to time him, catch him when he's moving awkwardly and off balance. And that's exactly what happened, right? We don't have that with Errol Spence. If you go watch the fight with Errol Spence and Sean Porter basically did the same thing. He was just unsuccessful in doing that with Terrance Crawford. And for good reason, right? It's a different style of fighter, right? It's not the same. It's different. Terrance Crawford didn't choose to sit there and bang out, go blow for blow with Sean Porter, although there was moments where he did. Errol Spence chose to beat Sean Porter at his own game. And that's how Errol Spence kind of fights too. He just takes it to you, right? But he's very meticulous, right? He picks his shots very well, right? He doesn't just throw just to throw, where Sean Porter does that a lot. So, again, you can't take that fight and say, oh well, because Errol Spence didn't knock out Sean Porter and Terrance Crawford did, we think Terrance Crawford's going to win the fight. That's just not how things fucking work, right? It's not. It's just not. So, there are other aspects to the game too that, like, when I sit there and I think about it, I'm like, shit. Because I am going to play with this fight, right? I am going to put some money down. That's just how I like to do that shit. I'm a better. Not a crazy one, but I just like to have fun with it. So, other aspects of what Terrance Crawford is going to bring to the table, I think the guy's going to come in a lot smarter and ready, right, than what he does with other fighters. I mean, he has to understand. If I was his trainer, if I was his promoter, I'd be warning him about a lot of fucking things that we normally don't talk about. Right? There'd be conversations arising based on this fucking guy. Right? You know, you gotta look at it that way. Errol Spence is a dangerous dude. And you shouldn't take no fighter lightly, right? I mean, that's just, you shouldn't, right? Because it's the ones you take lightly that end up doing the worst harm to you, right? Because you took them lightly. Look at Mike Tyson with Buster Douglas. Nobody thought that. Nobody thought that, right? And to be honest with you, just to touch on it a little bit, I actually think Buster Douglas got knocked out. That's for a whole nother conversation. I think the ref helped his ass up. And that's just, I saw it, all right? Go look at the fight. You tell me. But back to the real subject. You can't take no fighters lightly. And I don't think, look, right, when you hear Errol Spence talk, sounds like he takes everybody. He don't take no one lightly, but he doesn't really give a whole lot of credit to fighters either when it comes to himself, right? I mean, he might be talking about someone else fighting someone else and give them the credit they deserve, but when it comes to himself, he looks at himself in high regard. Very fucking high regard. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, he and rightfully so, right? As fighters, you should be thinking you're the best, man. Like, there's no one better than me. Who the fuck's better than me? If you're a fighter, that's how you should be thinking, hands down. So, you know, you can't blame the guy for thinking that way. And he's got the credentials to back it up. True indeed, right? So, and so doesn't Crawford. I honestly just think that the two styles, when they come together and they clash, after, like I said, after careful review, I really do fucking feel like it's going to be a little bit of a problem for Terrance Crawford. I think this one's going to be a little harder to crack, right? It might take a little longer. You may not be able to crack it at all. Nobody has, right? Nobody's been able to do that with Errol Spence. Errol Spence might just get Terrance Crawford to fight his fight, and that's what a professional fighter does. That's what a real good fighter does. He gets you to get off your game plan. No, you're gonna fight my fight, right? And I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you when you do that, because that's what I'm good at. That's my expertise. This is how I do it. So, you know, and I do strongly believe that it's easier to get tricked into that style of fight, right, than the opposite way. See, because I'm gonna be totally real with you, right? When it comes to these fucking judges, honest to God, the judges are fucked up. It goes either way, man. Like, you can never fucking tell what a judge is gonna do. But with my experience, with what I've seen in the past, guys who tend to box, right, do the pity pat and then run. It's even you know what, to be honest with you, it's like a 50-50 split, right? Because I think very much that Marvin Hagler won the fight with Sugar Ray Leonard. And Sugar Ray Leonard will admit to you that throughout the entire fucking fight, all he did was wait for the last, I don't know, what was it, 20 seconds of the round. Soon as he heard that, you know, that's that first bell, that knock, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with boxing. There's always, before the bell, there's always you hear it, right? That's when he would go, he'd throw a million fucking punches and make it look like he was affecting or being more effective than Marvin Hagler was, because he had Marvin Hagler chasing, right? He jab, he move, he jab, he duck, you know, but he was moving, running all the time. And what it looked like was that Marvin Hagler wasn't landing assertively, right? Doing a lot of chasing. And so when those last 20 seconds or 15 seconds would come to the end of the round, you would see Sugar Ray Leonard He landed too. He landed like fucking 10, 15 punches in a row. Boom, 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 right? And then fucking move. And so to the judge, and what a great game plan that was, right? Because truthfully, you know, everybody knows. Everybody knows. You ain't gotta fucking sugarcoat this shit. Sugar Ray Leonard was scared of Marvin Hagler's power. Marvin Hagler could have definitely knocked out Sugar Ray Leonard had he got him to fight his fight. So you see what I'm saying, right? You see how Sugar Ray got Marvin to fight his fight. Now let's look at it the other way, right? When De La Hoya did that with Tito Trinidad, Tito Trinidad fell victim to that too, right? He chased him. Barely was able to land anything assertively, right? And De La Hoya did the same fucking thing. Same fucking thing. He would pick, boom, 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 move, boom, 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 move, right? Bell rings, or that last 10 seconds before the bell rings, he would do some real quick flashes, flurries, and get out of there. But it didn't work that way, right? He didn't get the win in that. So you see how the judge, you know what I'm saying, right? You see how things go. You can never tell what the judge is gonna do, right? And both of these guys are very fucking popular. Like for instance, right? When Tito Trinidad beat De La Hoya, he beat him in Vegas, where nobody conceivably would have thought that De La Hoya would have lost. In Vegas? Nah, nobody would have thought that. Anywhere else? New York, Madison Square Garden, all day long. Yeah, Tito. That was Tito's home, right? Even though he's from Puerto Rico, he's not from New York, but that's not Puerto Ricans there. So, can it happen, right? Can it win? Can it something be stolen from somebody? Sure, man. It happens all the time in boxing. It really does. But in this case, man, I think, and I really do hope we don't see some foolish shit. Like, honest to God, because that's really gonna just. I'm tired of seeing it in boxing. I really am, man. But I think that the commissioner and you know the board, I think they're all gonna be on point with this one, right? This is just one of them fights that the whole world's watching. I mean, it really does have that kind of audience, man. It's got a lot of fucking press going on right there towards ridiculous. That's another thing too, right? I've heard so many people say, I've read so many comments that people are like, oh, they waited too long. They waited too long to have this fight. This should have been done 4 years ago. See, this is how I know you're not a boxing fan, right? This is how I know. Because 4 years ago, nobody had any unified belts. Neither one of these fighters had any unified belts. They each had one belt from one division or another, right? And they were up and coming, but they didn't have the names, the popularity that they have now. So, granted, as far as youth and talent goes, yeah, sure, that probably would have been a great bang out to watch, but it wouldn't have put up the numbers like it's gonna do now, right? It wouldn't have had the audience like it's gonna do now. So I think you know, for the people who say that shit, you're wrong, right? And you can disagree with me if you like it. I say that shit all the time. It's my fucking channel. This is my opinion. So, and I think I'm right. I think this was the perfect time for this fight. Honest to God. Like there were times where you could say that about a fight. Like I agree with that when they say that Mayweather and Pacquiao waited too long. I agree with that. By the way, though, they put up record numbers. So, and you know what? I don't know. That one's a toughie too, because it's not like Mayweather was weathered. Excuse me, no pun intended. He was still very much skilled and a great fighter at the time. He was embarrassing people. I mean, come on. And Pacquiao was still very much a strong, fast, elusive fighter in there. Like his footwork's like nobody else's. So I don't want to take away from what that fight had to offer for the fans and shit. I do think it should have had happened a lot earlier, though. They had their popularity and, their time for so long before they got to that point. So, but in this case, I disagree. They're 34 and what's Errol Spence, 34, right? Terrance Crawford, I think is 35 maybe or whatever. I know they're well into their 30s. So I don't have nothing in front of me to actually reference that, but regardless of that, right? Some people are trying to say, and I hate that shit, man. Some people are trying to say they're on their way out. Like, no, they're not. They're fucking unified champions, man. They're fucking about to be undisputed. You understand what I'm saying? So, if they're on their way out, then I'm confused here, man. I don't know which one has a loss, which one is not looking right. Like, they're both looking amazing. So, yeah, they're a little older for boxing, right? For boxing, when you start to get, to be like 34, 35, 36 years old, those are the ages where you start to question and say, okay, do I want to tarnish my record? I got a immaculate record, right? I'm undefeated. I got championships, belts from division to division, from weight class to weight class to weight class. Do I want to take it that far, right? Should I just gracefully bow out? So that's where a fighter starts to question that shit. And a lot of times they make mistakes. I said it in my last video, right? A lot of times they feel like they could continue to come back and do the same thing. And it doesn't work out that way, right? It didn't work out for Roy Jones. It didn't work out for Mike Tyson. It didn't work out for a lot of fighters. And you know what? It depends. Because different guys have different legacy, right? It depends on who's doing it, right? And where you are in your fight career, what you achieved, what you accomplished, all that shit comes into play. So, and to why I say that is it depends on how you're looked at when you continue to do shit like that, right? Because when it happened to Roy, it was like instantaneous, right? It was weird, right? Because everybody was like, Roy's the best, right? Were people starting to wonder if he was lingering a little bit? Yeah, sure, a little bit. But nobody, the guy was so blinding fucking fast. And he had power and his ring IQ and generalship. Nobody, I don't think there were too many people questioning it until it actually happened. And then when it happened, that's when and I hate that shit too, but it's true, man. That's when everybody threw their hands up and said he's done. He's fucking washed up. If he can't take a punch like that, let me tell you, man, that motherfucker was out. He was out. When you see somebody's head bounce off the mat like that, that's dangerous. That means your equilibrium's gone. You see nothing but green, and it takes a while to recover, man. It does. I've never been knocked out, but I've seen green. I've seen that shit before. I've been punched and been dizzy in there, right? I do some running, save myself. So I understand where that concept comes from, but it sucks to watch, man. It sucks to watch like legendary guys go through that shit. I certainly don't want to see that. I'd rather see somebody gracefully bow out at a certain time of their career and say, you know what. But then again, I also just to rebuttal that a little bit, right? I also want to see the best of the best fight the best of the best. So I hate when the best of the best doesn't challenge the best of the best, so they can have that record, right? So they can have those belts. I honestly think Tank Davis, I think he should start challenging. He's got a great catalog, right? He's fought some really good fighters, but I don't think he's gotten who he needs to get in there, right? Get a Devin Haney in there, right? Go beat up fucking Lopez, right? Go beat up fucking. I think this is what he needs to do, right? In order to like cement his legacy. He can do it both ways, right? He can continue to just fight, go up on another weight class, and maybe fight Lomachenko, right? You know what I mean? There's so many ways he can do it now because he's got that name. But I would really, as a fan, right? I would like to see the best of the best fight each other. I really would. Like for instance, right after this fight with Terrance Crawford and Errol Spence, I'd like to see one of them go fight the Charlos brothers, right? One of them, anyway. Jamel most likely is who I'd like to see, right? And by the way, I think we just got word. I think it's official that Jamal Charlo's fighting Canelo Alvarez, which is another bombshell fight, right? So it's happening, right? Again, I think that Canelo Alvarez should have took that fight a long time ago. He's on his way. You see what I'm saying? Like Jamal Charlo's very much still got his youth. He's rocking and rolling. So, and I think that's why he's throwing out them punchlines to Canelo, right? Because he's like, man, before you go, I need that. I need that, right? So it's true. It's true. A lot of these young fighters, man, they want that legend under their belt. They want to be able to say, nah, I did that to Holmes. Right? Antonio Tarver got that with Roy Jones. It's clout, right? That's what it is, man. So I really would back to talking about the fight, man. I really would like to critique what I was thinking and say that I want to give Errol Spence, man, the edge. Because watching him train, he looks fucking fabulous, right? He looks fast, he looks strong, he looks good, confident. I don't know, man. I really do think that's honestly, it's so fucking difficult, man. It really is, man. It's just one of them fucking fights where you just like, Jesus Christ. But, because either one of these fighters, right, if they hurt either one of you get what I'm saying? If either one of them gets to hurt each other, they're very good at finishing. So, I mean, it could just be one of them nights, man, where you get lucky. You see, you know what I'm saying? Like, not even lucky, just it was the better fighter got the better part of things, and that's how it went down, right? So this is why I would love to see a rematch also, right? Because everybody's gonna want to see that shit, man. Nobody wants to see a fight one time, right? I mean, unless it sucked, unless you dominated, right? Unless you showed like, yo, listen, man, you were nothing. You were nothing to me, man. I fucking ran through you. Okay, nobody wants to see that again. But I don't think that's gonna happen here, right? Same thing with Devin Haney and Lomachenko, right? I think everybody wants to see that again. I mean, come on. I think people want to see Lomachenko redeem himself. And I think Devin, I don't know, man. Again, I think Devin Haney's running from a lot of dudes too. I want to address that. That fucking Jesus Christ. When you become unified champ, everybody wants a piece of you. It's true, right? But you have to make yourself available. Like, yo, honest to God. Like, Shakur Stevenson, for y'all who don't know, if you're boxing fans and you know this level of shit, but Shakur Stevenson walked directly into the ring, right, after Haney fought with Lomachenko. And he directly challenged Devin Haney. Now, Devin Haney's face kind of said a few things to me, right? When he said, I'm the champ. And Shakur Stevenson said, for now, right? That's an ill diss, man. I love Shakur Stevenson, man. Let me tell you, I actually think he's probably, out of all the young fighters that are out there right now, I think he's probably the most talented. I really do. Is he the most hard-hitting, though? No, that might play a factor into some of these fights against Styles make fights. So, but I do think he is the most talented. I think he's the most sound boxer out of the group of young guys, anyway. And when I say that, I'm talking about Devin Haney. I'm talking about Tank Davis. I'm talking about fucking against Shakur Stevenson. I'm talking about fucking a Puerto Rican kid. He's not Puerto Rican. He fought Lomachenko. Sometimes I lose my fucking brain, man. There's too many fighters without having something to reference here. But yeah, out of all them young dudes, man, I truly like Ryan Garcia and all them guys. I think Shakur Stevenson has the most talent, and I think he has the most ability to get to where he needs to get to. I think he's being blackballed a little bit, and we're gonna get to that, right? Because here we are, right? That's like me coming to any average joint and be like, yo, fam, you think you're a bad motherfucker? Well, I think I'm better, right? And I think I'll whoop your ass. So what's up? Let's make that happen. I'm a fighter, you're a fighter. We got both good records. What's up? Right? And then all of a sudden, because he's the A side, and I hate that fucking shit too, that there's an A side and a B side, and fuck you, bro. Like, we gotta make that work, right? And this whole A side shit, listen, by God, fuck all that bullshit, bro. It's just a way to run and keep your fucking titles, right? Let's keep it real, bro. Who the fuck goes into a negotiation, a contract negotiation, and says, "Oh yeah, I'll fight you." 75-25. I get 75% of the purse, you get 25% of the purse. Who's gonna take that deal? I don't care. Even if I can whoop your ass, man, I'm worth more than that. All my other, I make way more than 25. What are you fucking kidding me? Right? So it's a slap in the face, right? You might as well just say, "Yeah, I'm scared of you. I don't want to fight you. So I'm gonna just make it so that it's unappealing to you." And that's whack. That's the politics of the game. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, Devin Haney, cut that shit out, man, for real. Like, who you think you are, Mayweather? You're not Mayweather, Poppy. I'm sorry. Mayweather could do that. Mayweather could do that, right? And even when Mayweather did do shit like that, I don't know, I kind of found it like, but he can do that, right? Because, I mean, look, man, when you position yourself in life, when you work that hard and you position yourself in life, right, like Mayweather did, you got your own promotion, you got your own you got everything he owns, everything, right? He is the A side, ultimately, at the end of the day, right? He's got the better record, he's got the most wins, he's got the, okay, but keep it within reason, right? I mean, I don't give a shit if you're the A side or the B side. Keep it within reason, brother. It just don't make no sense for you to be like, yo, fam, who the fuck is gonna sign a 75-25? I mean, at least, let's see, bro, let's keep it real. Do a 60-40. What's wrong with that? You're making 20% more. Like, yo, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? This is what I mean. You gotta be a 50-50. Do a 60-40, right? Even a 65-35, right? I mean, it's just not appealing to nobody. Nobody's gonna take that. Let's just keep it a buck. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is the shit that's going on with boxing, and it's starting to happen with UFC too, right? MMA, and I hate that shit, man. I really do, because it restricts us as fans from seeing good fights with good fighters, right? I mean, to this day, I don't understand how Conor McGregor gets to come in and out. As many losses as you taking, bro. I mean, I'm sorry, you're not the same Conor McGregor. And because you have that status, you're able to come in and out and fight the top guys as you come in and out. And it's just, no one's ever said, "Oh, you got to start at the bottom again." You know why? Because if you start at the bottom again, niggas at the bottom are going to whoop your ass. This is what I'm trying to tell you about fighters, right? All pro fighters are nasty. They are. Yo, listen, I'm sorry to tell you, but there have been, just because they're not in the top 5 and you guys only recognize the top 5 or the top 2, whatever, that don't mean that them dudes at the bottom of the brackets are like less than. They just either not promoted, right, or they had some unfortunate losses and downfalls, right, or shit happens. Believe me, man, there's some fucking serious fighters that are in the rankings that y'all don't know about. They're up and coming because, they're up and coming. You haven't heard much about them yet, right? But you will, right? And if you don't, it's unfortunate, right? That certain shit happens. I know some boxers right now. I know some fighters right now that are not in the rankings, right? And that I actually grew up with, man. There was dudes that I know are so nice with their fucking hands. I'll still to this day be like, yo, listen, I'll take one of you pro boxers and put it against one of my boys. Yo, listen, bro. I got a couple. You're crazy, bro. You're out of control. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like my man Jeff, listen, man, my man Jeff's hands are fucking retarded, right? Listen, so I'm talking about the old Jeff, right? And I won't say his last name. I don't have permission to do that, but he knows what I'm talking about. but the old from back in the day was super fast, man. It's fucking strong, man. Like, you could fight 3 motherfuckers and make it look easy. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying about fighters, man. You go, don't take a fighter and be like, he's white, he's not. You know, it's based on promotion. It's based on because, like, look at matter of fact. Let me prove a point. Let me prove a point, right? Pitbull Cruz, his name, Esau Pitbull Cruz, the one who fought Tank Davis. Why do you think Tank Davis won't fight him again? It's because Tank Davis knows that that's a fucking, listen, that dude's a problem. He's a fucking problem. As a matter of fact, I think Tank Davis is running from him because he's continuing to win. His only loss is to Tank Davis, and I don't even really think it was like I think that should have been a draw, and maybe even on his half, to be honest with you. That's one of those fights. Go look at it, go watch it. You can watch it over and over and over again, and to be honest with you, man, Esau Cruz took that fight on early notice, right? Didn't have the whole time to prepare for Tank Davis, right? Took it on early call. Yo, we need you to fill in. I bet I'm in there. I got no problem with that. No fear, Tank Davis. No intimidation. No nothing. Went in there, and I mean, go watch it. Go watch it. I'm a fan of Pitbull Cruz. Let me tell you, and I think that Tank Davis is running from him. I do. If you listen to what they asked Tank Davis after the fight, they said, "Would you do a rematch with him?" Immediately, he was like, Nah, that wasn't. You really think that was that kind of fight? Yeah, I do. And everybody else here does. That was a fucking serious fight, man. That boy, to this day, I think Esau Cruz was the only one to give Tank Davis the level of fight that could possibly somebody could say he lost. He won't admit that, right, obviously. But why won't you fight him again? I would listen, bro. I would put my. I don't like to go against Tank Davis, but I'll be honest with you, man. If that fight was to happen again, I'd probably go Esau Cruz. Maybe, because look at right, the better you get better as you go along, right? You fight different fighters, you get different styles, and you know you get more seasoned as you collectively win, right? But that's also happening for Esau Cruz. Okay, he lost to you, Tank, but not decisively. You didn't knock him out. There was no knockdowns. That was by points. And to be honest with you, I think the judges got that wrong. I'm sorry, Poppy, I just do. So, not by much though, right? So again, right, I'm going to go back and say it, and I'll say this shit again. Esau had to win decisively. If you want to beat the champions, you want to take the belts, you got to win decisively. So, yes, do I think Esau won that fight? If I was calling that fight, yeah, I think he lost it. I think he won it. But again, if you're going to take the belt, if you're going to say, I beat the champion, you got to do that decisively. And I don't know that he did that exactly. So, it was a very close fight, though. Very close. And I would love to see that again. So, man, I say all this, man, too, because, again, I don't like to go back on what I say, right? But I really do think that I want to switch that up a little bit and kind of that meter that I had going towards Crawford is now leaning more towards Spence. And I don't know if that many people would disagree with me either. Be honest with you. I mean, the fight world, and again, right, guys, listen, everybody, again, you got your favorites. You got celebrities who are cool with Crawford and a bunch of fighters that are cool with Crawford, and they're not going to go against Crawford, right? So they're going to say he's going to win. You got, your side, again, A and B side, right? I don't even know who's the A and B side here because they're both that popular. There might be A minus, super fuck. I don't even know if they exist that way. But yeah, you're not gonna get one side, right? One side has a fan base that's sticking to that, and they think he's gonna whoop his ass, and this side thinks Terrance Crawford's gonna whoop that ass. And I happen to be directly in the middle of this shit, and I think a lot of people are, right? Because we're fans of both. right? And you're undecisive, man. You just don't know which way to go. But I am leaning more towards that way now. Like, I am. I do. I totally think that. I think that Spence is going to be able to get into the mind of Crawford. I think he's going to make Crawford make mistakes. I don't know how many mistakes it's going to take in order to capitalize, right? Because I think Crawford's very good at adapting. I think he's very good at learning from his mistakes. Um, Hopefully, right? If it was one, that would be crazy, right? If it was one mistake he made and lights out, that would be crazy. Yo, listen, the crowd would go crazy, man. I don't think it's gonna happen that way though. So we have, man, it's gonna be a crazy fucking night, man. I can't wait. Honest to God, man. What do we got? What's the date? The 4th. Today's the 4th. So we got maybe 3 weeks, realistically speaking, a little bit more. So I hope y'all are excited as much as I'm excited. I mean, I would like to leave it in the comment box, man. Let me know how you feel about what I said, right? Let me know what you think. You think Crawford's gonna win? If you do think he's gonna win, how? Right? Same thing with Spence, right? You think Spence is gonna win? If you do, how? Right? Leave it in the box, man. Let me know what you think. And till next time, right? This may not be the last video. I might make another one. I don't think it's gonna be based on me switching the way I just did. And I'm not holding myself, like, listen, man, I don't feel bad about switching. Like, I didn't switch too hard, right? I was very undecisive in my last video. I didn't know which way to go. This is why I didn't want to give you a solid answer as to who I thought would win. But as this fight is getting closer, I'm starting to feel like Spence might be the guy. So, yeah, leave that for me, man. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like the content. It does help me, and honestly, God, it gives me a lot of motivation to make more content for you. So, I love you guys. Be safe out there, and until next time.